Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week, and I got 6 new comics. 3 reprints and 3 new ones. Lots of reprints for me these days. But first, let me show you a little of the free stuff, which is the comic shop news. What does that one say? Strange Academy. Oh, I guess a Doctor Strange story or Strange Academy. We'll give it a glance just to see. Brother Voodoo, yeah, it's a Marvel thing. This is a Doctor Strange story where they want to get into the kid stuff too, so let's have some kids in an academy. Who doesn't love Harry Potter? I've never read Harry Potter, so I don't know what all the fuss is about. But comic shop news tells us what's going on in the world of comics. Oh, like this one's got lots of comic preview stuff rather than just lists of orders, so we'll look through that. And then, from the library this week, I get the latest Charles Burns, which is tiny. This is called FS. The title of it is Free Shit, and there's 2 asterisks. It's S asterisk asterisk T. So I guess but this is, I didn't realize it was going to be this small. I should have when I read what it was about. Charles Burns used to make mini comics that he gave away, or mini art books that he gave away at cons. So you'd go to a con and he'd give you away one of these little 8-page, there's number 1. So this is like 18 issues, and it's really an art book. It's got little drawings in it. I think there's occasionally a little story, but not usually. I got a notebook. Luckily, there's not many notebook pages. But, you know, I just got this, and I've been looking through it. I haven't gotten all the way through it. Pretty neat, but glad I got it at the library, because the price on it is $20. And, maybe a $10 book this would be, rather than $20. I said it's fun to flip through. Oh, the other thing, I just returned to the library today, was the Mr. Miracle trade. The Mitch Gerard, Tom King one. And I have to say, I enjoyed it. They didn't stick the landing. I have some problems, macro level with the story and micro level. But overall, it was a fun read. Take it out of your local... I'm not saying that one's worth $20 either. But if you want to read that Miracle Man, take it out of your local library. It's, like I said, it's hard to describe. It's like, I don't know, Mr. Miracle in the Afterlife or something. Who knows? Since they didn't stick the landing, who knows what it really was. But if nothing else, it was very readable. So check that one out. Let's get on to the reprints. It's Incredible Hulk 180 Facsimile Edition. I used to have a real copy of this that I sold a couple of years ago. So it's fun to get the facsimile edition with Wolverine on the last page. In this case, the last page really is on the last page of the comic. A lot of times comics end before, like there's an ad there, but not in this one. We get the very first cameo appearance of Wolverine. So this is fun. Oh, you can cut out the Marvel value stamp if you want. Go right ahead. And then we got, let's see, the other Marvel one is True Believers, the criminally insane Mandarin. Excuse me. Need a sip of water. Was talking a lot at the comic shop. Let's see, what issue? Oh, this is 2 issues of Tales of Suspense. 50 and 55. So those are our 2 original issues that we get reprinted here. Is this Don Heck? Yep, Stan Lee and Don Heck. And do they do this? Is the second story theirs too? Yep, we're still with Stan Lee and Don Heck, Iron Man, and Tales of Suspense. That one's pretty cool. Only $1, so that's extra good. Then we got another facsimile edition. Batgirl. Go-Go checks, too. Look at that. I never read this one. Never had any desire to read it, but I've seen the cover enough times that I said, you know what? I'll get the facsimile of edition of it and read it. I think it was the Poison Ivy facsimile edition I got too, and I enjoy. This has got the uncoded paper on it too, so it's more like old newsprint. This one has the glossy paper, the Marvel. I actually think I prefer the glossy paper. Not that I dislike the unglossy paper. I just think the printing is usually better in the glossy paper, but not always. So, another reprint. We've all seen people show off the original issue on YouTube, so now I've got the facsimile. And then for our new comics, we've got Strange Skies over East Berlin, issue number 4. This is the last issue. I was supposed to get this last week, but my shop got shorted on it, so I'm glad it came in this week. Takes place in the 80s during the Cold War in East Berlin. Whole bunch of spy stuff. Whole bunch of UFOs landed and some alien creature, and they're all in a bunker, and things are going mad, and the alien creature, I think, is trying to get the hell out of there, or we don't really know what his motivations are, but he's kicking the ass of these East German military types, and our one spy who's actually working for West Germany, and da-da-da. Good stuff. Fourth issue in a 4-issue series. I've enjoyed it. Pick up the collected edition if you want. It should be out soon. Boom Studios. Let's see who does that one. Jeff Lovenis, Lisandro Esterin, and Patricio Del Pesce. There's the names for you. That was as good as I'm going to get them. Then we've got Terry Moore, 5 years. Love Terry Moore, been getting his stuff for ages. Oh, there's the first 5 years TPP is out. And always, at the end of a series, he collects them all in a giant hardcover, which are really cool if you're a giant hardcover person. I like buying it month to month, but those some days I wish I had bought the giant hardcover, because if you add up all the $4 prices I've spent, it's the same price, if not more, than the giant hardcover. So it's kind of like, why don't I buy that? But you know, I like the month. I like reading it. I like it as a periodical. I very much enjoy reading comics as a periodical. But like I said, some days when I see those giant deluxe hardcovers, I'm like, why don't I wait and get it in that? Which I actually used to do a few years ago, like in the late aughts. I switched over to buying. Well, there wasn't a lot of indie stuff that was good in those days too. But I switched over to buying things in hardcover, and it takes forever to wait for them. And I wasn't buying that many. And I ended up with a lot of bad collected editions too. So I'll stick to the monthlies for now. And here's one you haven't seen since September. Gods and Gears number 2 from Alterna. It's funny because after I do my YouTube video, I do a really quick Instagram video of the stuff I got. I usually tag the books, even though, you know, most of my books don't have any real tags. That all say like less than 100 people. But I remember when I bought the first issue of this back in the end of September, I looked it up and I tagged it. And then like sometime in December, somebody from the book, I don't know, one of the creators, was like, oh, saw the tag, was like, oh, I hope you like the book, blah, 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 blah. Next issue's coming out, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even remember it. I'd liked the first issue, put it on my pull list, and then forgot about it. Turns out Alterna has had problems with their printer, and I just saw a post from them that said it took them 2 months to find a new printer to print their books. So that's why the first one came out in September, and the second one came out in January. But I'm glad I barely remember what it was about. I remember there was superheroes and adventurers and some island somewhere. I may have to reread the first issue before I read this one. But I enjoyed, you know, Alterna comics are only $1.50. So I enjoyed the first issue enough to stick it on my pull list. And here comes the set. What is this? A 4-issue limited series? You know, at $6? I'll go for it. All right, now let me show you a little art. What have you seen behind me? Some color. Oh, this is, first of all, this one's been sitting around for a while. This was the original pencil drawing of this. And the date on it is 2009. So this has been in my, I make drawings and sometimes I put a pile, the ones I like, I put in a pile of stuff I want to do something with. So for near the 6/1/09, so for 10 and a half years, this has been sitting in the to do something with pile. And then today I got it into my head that I wanted to make something in color, big. And I almost started a new painting. I've done large paintings before. You can't see them. They're hanging on the walls. But I haven't done one in a while. I don't know, 5-7 years I haven't done it. So I almost started one that I said, I want to do one on paper. And I want to use some ink, some bright colored ink I have around. So that's what I did. And it was a little cumbersome to do because you can't paint on ink on an easel because it's water. It runs down. So I had to put it on the floor. Well, almost on the floor. I put it on a footstool. And I had to work on that on my hands and knees. And it was just kind of uncomfortable to do. But I really wanted to do it. And it's still taped. Otherwise, there's also... One of the differences between using ink and paint is when you step up close to ink, there's really not a lot to see. Because when you're painting, you're working with surface and brush stroke. And you can step up to a painting and see more stuff. But with ink, the colors strike you from far away. And when you walk up, you can kind of see variations in the color, but that's it. But I think I'm done with this one. Because as you can see in here, these lines are new. They were the last thing. So I did it. I did a color sketch on the computer. I painted it all up. Then I looked at it and went, it's too still. So then I went in and did these. They're kind of like seaweed, I guess. They add a little movement to the stillness. And I wanted to keep it simple and the color simple. And kind of like the way it came out. I'm not sure. I kind of want to keep it simple and basic, but I also want to add more lines to it because that's what I've been doing lately. So I think I'm just going to let it sit there. Don't think I'm going to add more lines to it, but I'm going to resist the temptation. But I think it came for a one-day sort of ink drawing. It came out pretty well. All right, you guys all have a good week out there.